overview of my project is I've been laying these track plate enclosures around the property, and I check the prints in there every day. And I'm hoping to get a population density estimate and kind of habitat preferences, because PCCI has so many vast differences. They have fields and woods and bogs and stuff. And then hoping that when we start identifying prints, we can see where the raccoons are moving. With this technique, it has some benefits because oftentimes when people are sampling for population, it can be either dangerous or expensive, time-consuming. So something good about this technique is it's non-invasive. I don't have to actually handle any animals. It's very simple and inexpensive, and it has been reliable in previous studies. So my hypothesis is that this is a good technique to identify unique prints on metacarpal pads. It's been done twice before, but with fishers. They're like a large weasel. So I'm predicting that this can be used in other environments tailored to unique species as well. So, have you guys all seen my enclosure? Out in the fields or in the lab? For those who haven't seen it, I have constructed them from coroplast, which is kind of like a reinforced cardboard. It's waterproof, it's very light, and pretty durable. They've been holding up well so far. And then just fasten them together with wires, and then the duct tape is to kind of prevent any rain from getting in the crack and messing up any of the prints that I've been collecting. And then this is inside one of the enclosures. I have an aluminum plate with copy toner, and that's actually a little bit too much copy toner. I've been kind of throttling it back a little to get clearer prints. And then up front of that is contact paper and then the bait. So they pretty much walk in the enclosure and they get their paws covered in the copy toner, and then they leave their print when they go to collect the bait. So for bait, I've been using canned cat food, but I've recently switched to peanut butter. It's a very helpful suggestion. And I've successfully collected prints using both baits, so I'm thinking that the technique, since raccoons kind of pretty much eat anything, I think the technique can be very handy regardless of what you have on hand. So far it's been working pretty well. So this is kind of the general placement of my enclosures. I have 27, and they're placed about 300 meters apart. We did have to use some discretion when placing them, because if they had landed directly in a field or a very wet area, there's no point in placing them there because it's either going to get mowed. Like you can see, I don't know if you can see number 11 over there, but that's right where they mow, right outside the education building. So we had to kind of slide that one over, and then some landed right on the trail. So if it was very impractical, we did slightly move them over. This is what the prints have been looking like that I've been collecting. This is more of a coarse-focused camera picture. I collect them each day in a 16 to 11 ratio. I do 16 on the northern part of PCCI, and then I do 11 the next day. But it kind of balances out very well with time because the 11 are a little bit more difficult to get to. So it ends up working out pretty well. So to identify prints, this is actually from a previous study. This is a Fisher print, but this is going to be pretty much the same idea of what I'm doing. What they do is they take 3 pictures of it, coarse focus, kind of just to tell what the animal is. Like, okay, yes, that's a raccoon, it's a Fisher. And then they magnify a little bit and start aligning them. And they switch back and forth, and what these little dots are, the little papillae, and they're kind of homologous to human fingerprints in which they're unique to them, so you can align them, kind of like fingerprinting a person. And you can see in this image, these ones don't align. They are very jarring when you see how they go back and forth. And then with that one, you can tell that it's the same Fisher, because although it slightly moves, the papillae line up very well. And we can count, we can measure the spacing, like the white area between the dots, and pretty much tell whether it's the same one or not. And that's how I'm going to identify where the raccoons are moving and how many there are out there. So this is a raccoon print. You can see the wart-like papillae. It's kind of hard, but you can tell the texture of it, that they're going to leave a pretty good print, which is unique to each individual. And I'm hoping to identify the same way that they do with the Fishers. I haven't yet started the identification. I've just been collecting prints thus far. So I've run into a few implications, which I think many of us have, is the storms, the heavy rain. It's very hard to go out and collect prints because I can't actually take them out of the enclosure without them getting smeared or wrecked. So that's kind of been hard to collect every day. I've had a little bit of slug problem. They leave their little slug trails, and it makes the prints unusable. scraping out the slugs isn't my favorite part of the job, but you know, I gotta do it. So I actually got a hold back of diatomaceous earth, which is an organic insecticide, and plan to just put like a thin line right in front, so that way the prints can stay very clear and usable. I've had some problems with the bait, lots of stuff get in there, which I actually learned that the raccoons will eat that too, so I don't know if that's as much as a problem as I thought, but this is one of the cans. It just kind of spoils easily, and that's why I switched to the peanut butter. It's not very pleasant. And then the raccoons themselves have been a little bit problematic. You can see they've tried to chew to get into the enclosure, and it kind of can let some of the weather or something else get in there, which I've been taping those back up so that they try and deter them from it. They've also been urinating in there, and I'm sorry, I'm a picture of the urine. I know you guys are probably very excited to see, but I promise it's in there. And I'm not sure if it's going to deter other raccoons from coming in, or because they have like a communal bathroom, like a communal area where they go to the bathroom, that won't really matter. But also, one of them has shed like an intestinal worms in there, and I don't know if that's going to be a problem of maybe spreading it or not, but I've been making plans to like clean that all out and get that out of there before I continue. So this is the timeline that I have. My mentor came down yesterday with the camera, but we're actually going to need a macro lens to get a very clear print. But I did get the opportunity to look at the prints under a dissecting microscope, and it's actually very cool. It's pretty much just like the fissures. You can see the little papillae, and it's exciting. So I'm hoping to start identifying prints as soon as he gets that lens, and he should be here next week with that. So I'm hoping to get started. And then thanks for everyone who's been helping, and I appreciate everyone's help. So does anyone have questions on the product or comments?
Just a comment, if the diatomaceous earth isn't working well for slugs, do well with copper strips.
Oh, really?
They'll actually electrify themselves.
Oh my God. Thank you for the suggestion. I will note that, for sure. Does anybody else have any questions, comments, anything?
Cool.
From the previous year's studies, how many different raccoons were they finding?
That I know of, there hasn't been a population sampling at PCSI for the raccoon.
Were they tagging them before though, when they were doing the parasite?
So they were looking at latrine sites and roundworm, but I think they were just taking. I know at one point they were taking just road-killed raccoons and stuff, and in other years they were doing stuff at latrine sites, but I don't know. I don't know for sure how many they ended up with. But yeah, we can look into that.